Okay, last thing we're going to do with the linear regression is we're going to use the linear equation that we come up with for these correlated variables x and y, and use it to predict values of the dependent variable y. So one thing, well, there's three things we need to keep in mind. The prediction is only valid if we choose a value for the independent variable that is within the range of values that the model was based on. Okay, so for our sparrowhawk example, our values for our independent variable, they range from, something, I think it was like 38 up to about 80. So that means if we're going to use that model to predict percent of new sparrowhawks, we have to only choose values in between that 38 and 80, because that's what the model was based on, and it's not valid for values outside of that range. The other thing is, if we think about the y-intercept, and we talked about, well, the y-intercept is the value that we get for the dependent variable if x, our independent variable, is 0. Well, sometimes it doesn't make sense for our independent variable to be 0. And a lot of times it's actually outside of the range that the model was based on. So the y-intercept, it is the predicted value when x is 0, but we have to keep in mind sometimes it doesn't make sense for x equal to 0. And then the slope, just a review there, it represents that increase or decrease in y for every 1 unit increase of x. Okay, but again, that's only going to be valid for values of x that are within that range of the sample data values. All right, so let's look at the basketball example. We've got the model here, the linear equation that we came up with. We want to use that to estimate the mean number of goals per game for a week when, actually, I think I changed the name to Amy. Sorry about that. Practices for 8 hours. Okay, so if you look back on the data, 8 falls in the range of hours practiced in the sample data, so this will work. So we can estimate points scored y by just plugging in 8 for x. So that becomes just a simple calculation. So 2.6 times 8, and then we add that to the 1.4. And that gives a point scored of 22.2 points. So remember, that's the average point scored for when practice is 8 hours. Okay, so to use this for prediction, you just plug in the value of the independent variable and calculate the dependent variable value. Now let's use that to estimate the mean number of goals per game for a practice of 14 hours. Okay, well, if you look back at the sample data, the x values went from a low value of 5 hours up to a high value of 12 hours. So 14 is not in that range, so the model is not valid for 14. So we're not going to use it to predict points. Okay, so for the last 3 pages of notes, we're just going to look at 3 examples, and we're going to kind of run through the whole process of linear regression. And you're going to do this for your assignment as well, and you will use a Google Sheet that I've got a link to from Foxtail, and I have a little video describing how to use that as well. So you will not need to calculate on your own the correlation coefficient R, the y-intercept, or the slope, okay? Those will be calculated for you using the Google Sheet. And in these examples, those are going to be given to us along with the scatter plot. And for each of these, we want to come up with the regression equation, find and interpret R squared, that coefficient of determination, We'll do the test to see if we have linear correlation, and then we'll choose an appropriate value of x to predict a mean y value. So if we look at this first one, we've got the student athlete's time in minutes to swim 2,000 yards, and then the student's heart rate after swimming. And this is a random sample of 10 days. All right, so here we've got an independent variable. X is the swim time, and the dependent variable is the heart rate. So first thing we want to do is we want to write down the linear model, the linear regression equation. So we have y equals, and up here we've got the y-intercept and the slope. So we get 193.9, and then the slope is negative, so that's going to be minus 1.5x. Okay, so that's just a matter of plugging in the y-intercept and the slope to get that equation. So the next thing we want to do is calculate r squared. So r squared, r is given to us, negative 0.12. If we square that, we get a positive 0.0144. Usually we write r squared in terms of a percentage, so let's round to 2, and that is 1%. We're rounding to 2 decimal places and writing it as a percentage, 1%. Okay, so if we interpret that, that means that 1% of the variability in heart rate is explained by the relationship with the swim time. All right, so not a high percentage. Okay, so now we're going to do the hypothesis test for linear correlation. The null hypothesis is always that true correlation coefficient rho is equal to 0 and there's no linear correlation. And then the alternate is that true correlation coefficient is not equal to 0 and there is correlation, linear correlation. So let's calculate the test statistic. So we got t equals negative 0.12 times the square root of, our sample size is 10, so subtracting 2 from that, square root of 8, all over square root of 1 minus negative 0.12 squared. And that gives us a t-value, a test statistic of negative 0.342. The p-value, we look that up, is 0.7. Write that out. All right, p-value is 0.741. So a pretty high p-value there. So that means that we are going to not reject the null hypothesis because that's greater than any of the significance levels that we would have. Okay, so our conclusion then, since we're not rejecting the null, that rho is 0, our conclusion is that there is no linear correlation between the swim time and heart rate. The last thing that we wanted to do with the linear model was to use it to predict a value. Now, since we're saying that there is no linear correlation, that would imply that this model really isn't valid to do prediction. But let's just go ahead and do that anyway to practice. And I'm going to put that up here. Let's choose a value of x All right, it needs to be in the range of values. So if we choose 35 for the swim time, we plug that in, so we get y equals 193.9 minus 1.5 times 35. Okay, that would give us a predicted value of 141.4 beats per minute. Okay, next one. Average per capita wine consumption and heart disease rate are our two variables, and we're sampling 7 different countries. We've got the scatter plot, we've got the R value, we've got the y-intercept and the slope. So we can write down the linear regression equation. So y equals that y-intercept of 250.4, and we have a negative slope, so minus 21.2x. And r squared, we'll take our value of negative 0.83, square that, have an r squared value of 0.6889. So if we round to 2 decimal places and write that in a percentage, that gives us 69%. So interpreting that, we can say that percent of the variation or variability in the heart disease rate is explained by relationship or correlation with the wine consumption. Okay, now let's test and see if we've got statistically significant linear correlation. So we're testing whether that true correlation coefficient rho is equal to 0 against it not equaling 0. Calculating the test statistic, take negative 0.83 times the square root of, we have sample size of 7, so subtracting 2, the square root of 5, over square root of 1 minus negative 0.83 squared. That gives us a t-value of negative 3.327. Okay, looking the p-value up, we get p-value of 0.0208. Okay, so that is less than any of this, that's less than the significance level of 0.05 and 0.10. So we can say at alpha equal to 0.05, we are going to reject the null, which means that there is linear correlation between these two variables. I'm not going to write it out. Okay, so I want to save some room to do some prediction. So let's predict the heart rate, the heart disease rate based on a selected value of X, a selected value of wine consumption. And let's choose 6. And so I think this is the per capita wine consumption of liters in these countries. Okay, so if X is equal to 6, Y equals, we take 250.4 minus 21.2 times 6. And that gives us a predicted average heart disease rate of 123.2. Okay, let's look at this example. The average takeoff error and the best jumping distance for 13 long jumpers is listed. It's actually not listed here, but each of these examples is in that shared Google Sheet. So you can see the underlying data if you want to take a look at those. But what is listed is the values for R, A, and B, and we've got the scatter plot. So we want to run through the four things. So start off with the linear regression equation. So y equals that y-intercept of 4.8. And this time we've got a positive slope, so we got plus 2.7x. And calculate r squared. Okay, we take that correlation coefficient of 0.68 and square it. That gives us r squared of 0.4624. And we can round that and write it as a percentage. So we've got 46%. 46% of the variation or variability in the jump distance is explained by the relationship with takeoff error. So let's do the test of linear correlation, because that 46% and that R value, it's not really clear. So this is a really good one to use the test, and because it gives us the significance. It gives us the the power of inferential statistics and the process that allows us to come to this conclusion or not. Okay, so there's our hypotheses, our test statistic. Take 0.68 times square root of 11 over square root of 1 minus 0.68 squared. So we get test statistic of 3.076. That results in a p-value of 0.0105. Okay, so here's one that it depends on the significance level that we choose, but at alpha equal to 0.05, we are going to reject the null because 0.0105 is less than 0.05. Okay, so that says that at that significance level, we do have linear correlation. Between these two things. All right, between the error and distance. So we can use that to predict a distance based on average error. So let's choose a value of x. We want that to be in the range of x values. If we choose x equal to 0.1, that will work. So we get y equals 4.8 plus 2.7 times 0.1, and that gives us a predicted mean distance of 5.07, and I think this is given to us in meters.